Spiders, heights, public speaking. Everyone has their own phobias. If you have ever thought that you would rather die than speaking in public, don't worry, you may not be alone. Because according to survey, public speaking is a common phobia. In this book summary, The Art of Public Speaking by Dale Carnegie and J.B. Esenwein, we will discuss 6 ideas how speaking in public can be achievable. Of course, at first it might be a little uncomfortable, but don't worry. We will discuss in this video how you can overcome that discomfort. So let's dive right in. First idea. Being skilled at public speaking is a matter of practice. Do you remember learning to swim? How did you learn it? Did you read a book on art of swimming and then directly jumped into the deep water pool confidently and fearlessly with perfect execution? Of course not. We learn to swim by swimming in the water, no matter how many times water gets into our nose and makes us miserable. But why did I bring this up here? Well, public speaking can be just like learning how to swim. You have to dive yourself in front of people and speak. Becoming a skilled speech giver isn't about becoming fearless. It's about having control over your fear. There are 2 techniques to help you do that. The first is to forget the feelings of self-consciousness by becoming absorbed by the subject. And second, try memorizing at least first few lines of your speech as a starting point. After giving first few speeches, you may feel like you are drowning instead of swimming. But keep practicing and you will soon start floating. Here's the second idea. Use emphasis over monotony. Imagine you are a successful pianist. You could change the tempo, play slowly or quickly and bring uniformity. There will still be number of ways to interpret the music. There are no hard and fast rules when it comes to how a piece of music should be played. This idea also applies to public speaking. There are countless ways to give a successful speech. Just like in music, monotony is the enemy. Imagine playing a famous Bach concert only in one key. No one's gonna like it. So how can you avoid falling into this trap? Well, it means you need to equip your public speaking instruments with a variety of new notes. The first key to give dynamic speech is to use emphasis, which means to stress important words. For example, look at the following sentence. Destiny is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. Here my important words are destiny, not, and choice. So let's see how I can stress these important words. Destiny is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. Well, maybe that's too much, but I hope you get the point. The second key technique are changing your pace. When you want your audience should listen to any of your particular statement very carefully, make sure you slow down your speech. And third is to take a pause. It's always a good idea to take a pause after saying significant word or a phrase. So use these 3 techniques to avoid monotony. People will love listening to you. Here's the third idea. Arousing emotions. There was one advertising experiment done by a New York watchmaker. He had 2 campaigns. One which emphasized a watch features including durability, functionality and design. And another campaign that said owning the watch would bring pleasure and pride, with a slogan, a watch to be proud of. It's not surprised that the second campaign did better, and he sold as many watches with that ad than the first campaign. Our feelings and emotions guide us through life. Think about it. Why do we choose soft bed or drink cold water? It's not always logic or a reason. Sometimes it just simply feels right. Anyone who wants to master public speaking should consider this. Arousing passion in your listeners can do more work to win them over rather than hours of logical, rational argument. Focus on becoming what you speak and transform yourself into your subject. By doing this, you will be able to create emotions and interest in your listeners. Idea number 4. You can learn gestures, but they must come from genuine feeling. Gestures include movement of hands, face, and other parts of body. It is a non-verbal communication. Imagine you have an apple tree in your backyard that's twisted, stunted, and leafless. What are you going to do about it? What if you could head into your garage, grab a chainsaw, saw off branches from another apple tree next door, and then nail them to your own tree trunk and pretend they are yours? If only horticultural hurdles were so easy, you don't need to be an expert to know that plant's outward experience reflects its inward circumstances. It takes a lot more understanding to apply this concept to the art of gesture. When someone is giving a speech, their movement and gestures has to come from real emotions and experiences. You cannot prepare every little gesture in your speech, as it should fit the occasion and come organically when you speak. Yes, gesture is born out of true feeling, but you can still practice and get better at it. Idea number 5. A strong speaking voice requires good health. What do basketball players and public speakers have in common? Yes, both need to perform in front of crowd, but there is one more. They have to be in a superb cardiovascular condition. Projecting to a large auditorium requires strong pair of lungs. Lungs are crucial to powerful, resounding voice. There is one speaker who practiced his speeches when he went running, which forced him to take a deep breath and overall improve the power of his lungs. But if you are not into running, there is one exercise you can do to improve your lungs and train yourself to use your diaphragm, which is the best way to take in a lot of air. So start by standing with your hands on your vest, and with your hands there, try to make your fingers touch. This requires you to squeeze out all the air from your lungs. When you inhale, do it deeply through your stomach and don't raise your shoulders. This technique will help you get the most of your lungs, and you will have a strong speaking voice because you have good, healthy lungs. Idea number 6. Use imagination to your advantage. Argument is the core foundation for any convincing speech. But if a speech is only a chain of logical statements, it will sound dull and lack any luster. It will surely be sturdy, but who will want to listen? This is why it is important to use the power of imagination when delivering a speech. One way to do this is by using figurative language. For example, maybe your speech's argument is that alcoholism can destroy a happy home. You could approach your audience and announce a claim, and then give a long, monotonous list of statistics that prove your point. This could work if your crowd is full of fact-loving data analysts, but honestly, this approach would put most people to sleep. It's better if you ignite their emotions through figurative language. A story. Perhaps tell a tale of drunkard coming home from a weekend binge, yelling and hitting his children. This will grab your audience's attention but also stick uncomfortably in their minds more than numbers and generalization. After all, imagery is what makes a good poem, and public speaking is kind of a poetry. If you keep images in mind during your speech, you will stand out and deliver something anyone wants to listen to. There is a best way to become an effective speaker is through practice, practice and practice. Your success or failure as a speaker will be determined very largely by your thoughts and your mental attitude. This is Nikhil. Keep speaking, keep expressing. World is your stage.